Hey guys, this is Emily Lopez, and I'm coming back at you with the My House podcast after a long hiatus. Trying to film this, but also not put the mic in my face. So I have this on I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, and I'm also going to put this on the podcast streaming. So whichever place you prefer to listen and whatever's best for you. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about why I stopped the podcast and why I'm starting the podcast again. I'm actually a little bit nervous this time. I'm going to bear a little bit of my heart to you about my thought process and what's been going on in my journey a little bit. And a lot of that plays into why I stopped and why I want to start again. And so basically, I felt like the podcast was getting to the point where I feel like there is so much noise because anybody can create, anybody can put content out there. And I didn't know if I felt like on the podcast I was creating value or if I was just yapping. And I got to the point where I felt like my YouTube channel is creating value. I feel like I'm sharing with people how to do things and how to do projects. I have a lot of tutorials on DIYs. And I feel like my Instagram, I have a lot of that too. And really the Instagram page, I feel like I'm just trying to encourage people to look at being in the trades and what that can do for you, and that just visibility that, man, for young people, that the trades is a viable thing and a valuable thing to go into. But with the podcast, I didn't give it a huge chance. I mean, I haven't had the podcast and put as near as much work into it as I have the YouTube channel and the Instagram. But with the podcast, I also felt like I didn't know who it was reaching. I didn't know if it was reaching anybody. I didn't know if it was help. I mean, I knew it's reaching a few people because the analytics, but I didn't make a ton. I mean, I have hundreds of videos on my YouTube. I have thousands of posts on my Instagram. And the podcast, I have a handful of episodes. But I just worried that I was just putting noise out and I wasn't providing any value. And so I didn't want to just be one more person that was just yapping and yapping and yapping, or putting, I think I go to the dump when I do construction and I see all that stuff out there. And I feel like the internet is becoming this wasteland. And so I didn't want to be contributing to that internet wasteland of people putting stuff out that is just junk. But over the last couple of months, it has really been on my heart, and I have really been thinking about the podcast a lot. And I didn't want to start it again if I wasn't committed to it. But I have just had this, so I'm a Harry Potter fan. I don't know if so in Harry Potter, there's something called liquid luck. And basically when Harry uses the liquid luck, he just kind of trusts his gut and goes wherever the wind blows him, and it kind of like ends up in his favor. And so I don't really believe, like my husband believes everything happens for a reason and stuff like that. And I don't know that I believe that, but I do feel like I believe in energy and gut instinct and stuff like that. And I have felt like it was important for me to bring the podcast back. So I've really been thinking over the last couple of months what that would look like and how I want to do that. And part of the reason that I did not continue with the podcast, or was not sure how to continue with the podcast, is a couple things. One, I am selfishly a little bit afraid. I have put a lot of effort into my YouTube channel. And I think I have to share this on YouTube, and I think I have to share this on streaming as well. I think that's the best way to do it, to get it to people and to share the information. But I'm worried because of all the work I've put into developing my YouTube channel. Everyone says niche down. And I'm worried that if I put the podcast on, it's going to throw off my algorithm and it's going to hurt the work I've put in. But I feel like the DIY crowd and the people that are looking up how to do these projects, maybe investors, or a lot of DIYers are bootstrappers, save money, work hard people. And so I feel like those are the people that probably want this message. And so I don't want to start a different YouTube channel and separate everything, because I don't want to be maintaining that many different pieces. And I also feel like these are the people that this information can change lives for. And secondly, I feel like a podcast, it's easy to ramble. Obviously, I'm a bit of a rambler, and I'm a little concerned about sharing too much personal information. I think it's really hard to explain how investing and real estate and things with your money have changed your life if you don't share a little bit of like the numbers and what's actually going on. But as you know, the internet is a mean place. And I think it's really hard to put yourself out there. And if I just do a DIY video and I edit it and I put it out there, that's not me. I mean, people might be rude about me being a female in DIY or me being an idiot or whatever, because there's just hateful, angry, sad people. But it's not, here's my life and here's my life's work and here's what I'm doing. And so I'm a little nervous to put that out there. I think that really makes me feel vulnerable. And I have also struggled a little bit because I feel like with real estate investing, when you start, it's hard to share information because there's no legitimacy, right? Like if someone started a real estate investing podcast, YouTube channel, Instagram, whatever, and they had no real estate investments, then why would you listen to them? Why would you think that what they have to share is going to help you or improve your life or change your life? When you are intermediate, I got to a point where I finally started to feel like I was getting some success off of my investments. And you feel like you get those, oh, must be nice. You don't know what it's like to struggle. But I did, and I struggled for years, and now my hard work's paying off. But you get all that hate from people that are, not there yet or struggling and in a hard place. And then the other end of it is, you have these people with hundreds and hundreds of investment properties making millions and millions of dollars. And it's like, what do I have to add to the conversation that they don't have to tell you? And so a lot of that is why I was not continuing with the podcast or going down the route with it that I thought I intended or originally wanted to do. But then I kind of started to realize, and as I was consuming real estate content in different places, it seemed to me like people that had no idea, they weren't in the trenches, right? So either they had no idea what they're doing. Maybe they have a rich family member who's giving them money, so they're not really like starting from a hard place, or they're super successful and out of touch with reality. Or honestly, what I feel like I'm seeing a lot of is people just trying to sell you junk for a really high price. Which again, I feel like there are things worth paying for. There are programs and things probably that can help change your life. But because there's so much internet noise and internet rubbish, how do you sift through it? And the scary thing is, do you want to make that investment in that product? I think most people would say, hey, I'll pay X amount for a product if it's going to change my life and give me what I think I'm getting. But if I'm not, then I just wasted that money. And that could have been what I was saving up for a down payment for my first investment property. And so I just think it's hard because you have these really big people that are super successful. And I look at all these people trying to sell a course or a program and I go, is that person successful because they actually did what they said they did to get successful? Like, were they a real estate investor? Are they tried and true? Are they seasoned? Do you know that's how they made their money? And now they're trying to coach you. And obviously you can't give your time away for free. So I get that. Or is that person rich because they're a salesman and they're selling you a program and they actually aren't investors? Because I see this all the time. And especially like 10 years ago in real estate agents, not real estate investing, but people are like, I'm going to teach you to be a top agent. And they're trying to sell some program for a heck ton of money. And you can look at people's stats. You can pull their MLS data or have someone pull it that's part of their MLS, right? And some of these people are acting like they're top agents and top producers and yada, yada, yada. And they're not selling anything. They're rich because they sold you a program. They're not rich because they're good real estate agents. And so I feel like people are being duped. And I feel like I've just felt an overwhelming sense that I needed to bring the podcast back and share the journey despite the backlash that I might get. Maybe people in my small circle know more about me than I want them to know, or, maybe people are mean to me on the internet, and that's okay because I have decided that if I share my hard work, and real estate has changed my life, and I have worked so hard for so many years, and it's actually kind of starting to pay off, but you got to do it for a really long time. And my husband's always said, you should do a class or you should do a program. And I don't know how to do that for you because all I can tell you is work really hard for a really long time. And when you have no hope, keep going and don't give up and work harder than anybody else. And when everybody else tells you you can't and it's not going to work and you're lonely and alone and no one's helping you, but you know in your bones it's going to work, keep doing it. But do it for 10 years. Do it for 10 years when you have no positive feedback, when you have no encouragement, when you have no wins. Keep doing it and it'll work. How do you make that a class? How do you make that a program? But if I share my day in, my day out, my process, what's going on, and maybe I guess backpedal into some of our journey, I don't know what to do besides to document it with you, because I can tell you what to do. That's what a class is going to do, right? But if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. And so I guess my thought process is, if I share this and 80% of people hate it and hate me, that's fine, I guess. If 20% of people or 10% of people that I can share this with or touch, I can change their lives the way that real estate has changed my life, I don't know how I can't share it with you. And I just feel this huge responsibility. I have been so incredibly lucky in real estate, because when I was young, it wasn't me, I came into contact with real estate mentors who became very cherished parts of my life, who have taught me information and I wasn't looking for it. And I always see, when you listen to a podcast or someone that's really successful in real estate or someone trying to sell a program, they always tell you, find a mentor, find a mentor. Well, how? And most people don't have access to that. And I always thought, because I felt like I had been given a leg up because of what I fell into and learned and the information and education that was given to me, that as much good as has been done unto me and as much as I have learned from my real estate mentors, I owe it to the world to give that much good back and do that much more, because I fell into that luck. And I just have been feeling such a sense of gratitude and such a sense of responsibility to share this with people who want to get started but maybe don't have a real estate mentor or don't have the opportunities to do what I did to learn and fall into real estate. And I feel like I have to give as much as been given to me. And so that's why we're back.